Hey everybody, Doug here from 2 Plus Stuff, and got a little bit of an early weekend start from work thanks to Thanksgiving. I have tomorrow, obviously, the holiday off, and then the next day, and I thought, to kick off my extended weekend, let's have a little bit of fun. So if you haven't been with me before when I've done one of these, basically this is my second date, and what I mean by that is basically, it's a really fun interactive thing where I'm going to basically just ask questions to the audience. Sorry, I'm just making sure everything's working on my end. Ask questions to the audience. You guys go ahead and respond, and then I will go ahead and give my answer. So that way, I'll ask the question, I'll answer it, and then in my answering, give you guys time, type out your answers. And it's just a fun way to get to know each other, make me seem as human as I am, because that's apparently needed. Because some folks, I don't know, think I'm more than that. So it's just kind of a funny thing that happens sometimes. So as you can tell, we have some R&B music from the free Google selection available to us. I want to show off a new camera that I installed here. And it's specifically to show off models that I'm working on while I'm working on them. So tonight you're going to see me painting up some, I keep wanting to say Clan Escher. They're not. They're from the House Gang Escher. And so that's what I'm working on tonight. So here's my prototype. I'll spin her around for you. She has the bionic eyes. There's not a whole lot going on with the face. But that's what I'm working on tonight. I have the other ones here. That was my test model. And so then I'm going to pan over. Let me get my light set up before I move the camera so it's not terrible looking. There we are. We're over at the painting desk. So hey Hugh in the chat, how's it going? And so that's what we're gonna do. Is gonna hop in and just chat about stuff. I'll open up with what's been going on in my life, as most dates often do. I'll go over actually what I'm painting here first. So of course you saw in the light box the other model, but this one is the leader, and so I'm gonna paint her. If you want to Google it, look up Tina Turner in Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome or Beyond Thunderdome. That's how I'm going to paint her up, except with the yellow outfit to match everybody else. So the hair is going to be dark and natural towards the scalp, and then she bleached her hair towards the tips, and so that's exactly what we're going to do. So let me get my questions pulled up for date night antics. And let's see here. We're going to kick this off with a very simple one. What are your other... Ever heard Tina Turner's real name? No, I never have. I only know as Tina Turner. What are your other passions besides wargaming and or painting? If you're not actually a player of the game, you just like to paint and stuff, which is totally legit. What's lore got to do with it? I like it. Let me grab... I think we'll start with a base of wildwood here. Oakshan, hey. My other passions are true crime. Really love learning all about the various murder and mayhem that humanity's been up to. And then, what else besides that? That's definitely the big one. I spend a lot of my time listening to that, which I probably shouldn't. It's probably not the best for me. But, it's interesting. It's fascinating. Beyond that, occasionally I get in this itch to So before Warhammer, my hobby was RC stuff, RC planes, RC cars, but it's hard because there's not really a social aspect to that. It's a very isolated kind of hobby, which is great, but one of the things I love about Warhammer is just getting out to meet people and that kind of stuff, so I think this works better for me. Annie Mae Bullock is her name, and she was born with. Interesting. I'm an acid crafter and do lots of craft shows. Right on. I dig that. Avid. I was like, well, because no, I thought you said acid because there was this thing on YouTube I saw where someone, so I'm trying to think how to explain it. So basically he had a few things of art with several layers of paint on it, and then he put some kind of acidic chemical on it, and the way that he moved whatever the canvas was, it kind of burned through layer by layer, and so at the end of it, it was different sequential like layers of paint that were all burned away. It was kind of interesting. I'll try to find it. But I thought it was rad. Let's see. Can't we just get beyond Thunderdome? Never get beyond Thunderdome. Thunderdome is life. I was trying to think of a good look for a gang, and I was like, I mean, there's just the best look for a gang, which is, as everyone knows, is obvious, is Tina Turner's gang from Beyond Thunderdome. I mean, that's just an undisputed fact. Seconded only by Rufio's gang of kids from Hook. Alright, make sure I grab the tips here. They're here. Oh, I definitely painted her scalp when I didn't mean to. That's okay. We'll go back over it later. Okay. So let me ask the next question here. What was the last book that you really got into? Like, super were into it. Could be a series, doesn't matter. Kind of making a mess on my nice new desk. That's okay, we'll find a way. Last book you were super into. For me, honestly, I think Nagash Undying King was probably the last book that I was like, I don't want to put this book down. Like, I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm not like specifically sure why. Like, you know, I've read other great books. I don't know, just hit a nerve. I was just like, I love this. I'm doing right now is just painting the tips of the hair to kind of get that. So basically she has like a purposefully bad bleach job on her hair. Speaking of hair, got a hair in my brush. Like, you know, the crew made it that way, and so that's exactly what I'm going for, is that same kind of dirty bleached look. As was big. What was that, 80s, 90s? No, that was definitely not the 90s. Sigval was good. Gotrek and Felix. Nice. Scythe. The 14th and final book right now. Oh, Wheel of Time? Yeah. I hear good things. Yeah, I don't know. I for some reason, like, books have never been a medium that's really gripped me, which I know sounds really dumb and weird coming from a guy who's like, oh, I'm all about the lore, but it's hard for a specific book or series to really get me, you know? I don't know. Those are some good answers. Blood Meridian, never read that one. Let's see. So the question here is, what are some movies you really enjoyed? If you don't know how this works, I pulled up a site of 137 first date questions. And so movies you really enjoyed, and that's too broad because I'm sure we've all seen quite a few movies. So let's say, let's say your favorite, we'll go action movie. Mine's Hot Fuzz, 100%, just because it makes fun of the entire action movie genre. Thought it was really, really smart. Loved it. Let's see. We're just going to stick with painting her. Let me grab some colors here. Inquisitor Thomas, wait, we went on a first date. Yes, we did. This is the second video of these I've done where I've had my quote-unquote date nights where I just ask questions and that kind of thing. It's kind of nice to have a bunch of questions already kind of like pre-made by the internet. Aliens or Face Off? Ooh, yeah, Aliens is a great one. That's a tough one. I think I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think Aliens and Face Off are in the same category. I think Aliens is a piece of cinema history, and Face Off is like the stepchild that most people want to forget. I don't know. It's fine. It's not a bad movie. Shouldn't feel guilty about watching it, but it's just I just don't think it's on the same level. Sorry, I'll try to move my hands up a smidge, but it's a little bit difficult. I'm still trying to figure out. So if you can't tell, I got a new desk, and so things are a little cramped as I try to figure out the best placing for things. And it's just always trying to be sure that there's no light reflection going back into the camera, because I don't want to just have a glare that y'all stare at for a while. So yeah, I love Hot Fuzz. I do. If we're gonna open it up to like horror type things, man. Aliens is really good. That's a tough one to beat. That's such a cool character and cast. Action movie Predator. That's a great one as well. Is Endgame an action movie? Endgame. Oh, like the Marvel movie? Yeah, I mean, I'd say so. I feel like superhero movie is becoming its own genre, if it hasn't already. Right, where we used to be like, oh yeah, it's a pretty good action movie. Now it's like, but action's not a definitive enough qualifier. Now it has to be, you know, this specific thing. But yeah, definitely count that. Still haven't seen Endgame. I never got super into the MCU. Not because I didn't like it, I just couldn't keep up, and once I can't keep up, I kind of lose interest, to be honest. Kind of the same thing with like the Horus Heresy books, where it's just like, I mean, I know where to start reading them, but it's like it's a monumental effort to not let that seem overwhelming, especially because I don't read particularly fast. Let's see, Predator, best action movie, easy. Good evening. Okay, let me get this layer done here and we'll move on to the next question. Trying to get this little part of her coat's cape right there in the back. There we go. Get it. Try listening to the first Horus Heresy audiobook. It was like staring into the sun. I love it. Let's see. What TV series do you keep coming back to and re-watching? For me, super easy, Bob's Burgers. Love it. Absolutely love Bob's Burgers so stinking much. Yummy has kept me from my painting desk. Oh no. Black Friday, get to stay home and paint. There you go. Regular Show. I've never heard of it. Regular Show. Stargate SG-1. Nice. That's a solid call. Star Trek. Question. Do you paint models for others for Christmas presents? I do not. I try whenever possible to not paint models for anybody else. Mainly because I tend to get very overwhelmed or I lose passion for it. I generally don't. There's a few people that I've offered it to, but they are pretty few and far between. Game of Thrones. Okay. Burn Notice. I've never seen that one. I see it like it's definitely like promoted to me, or like, you know, something I might like, similar interests, that kind of stuff. But I never actually took the time. That's about spies and stuff, right? Espionage and counter-espionage, that kind of thing. All I know is it has Bruce Campbell in it. I'm kind of like, that's all it needs. I mean, what else does it need to do more? One thing I will say about these Necromunda models, these gangers, they are finely detailed. Everything is so small. Like, I was just looking to paint some of the other gangs, and I was just like, my goodness. Like, I mean, particularly the Escher girls are, because they're a lot thinner than other units. I think they're a little bit special in that regard, but I mean, they're not unique in the sense of other models are small too. But let's see. Skaven Blight, Dinge. Venture Brothers is a fantastic one. I like that suggestion. I tried explaining it to my wife, but you know, the thing is, if you haven't seen the old Johnny Quest things, that it's kind of like, or any of those old kind of adventure shows, it doesn't have the same grip. I don't know, so I mean, GW models at work, we have a, nope, don't do much in the way of gift giving within this hobby in specific. I'm just painting on the, I don't know, pants. What were these? Leggings? The leggings with spikes on them. I love it. I just love the absurdity. I actually, on Monday night, that's what it was. So there's a store that's always done AOS and 40K and all kinds of games on Monday nights, and I've wanted to go check it out for a while. I just, you know, Mondays are the worst day of the week for me, like with my work, just because things pile up over the weekend while I'm gone, and to come back and sort it all out. So it tends to be kind of stressful. And after that, I don't really want to go out and game, kind of thing. But since my normal gaming night Thursday is going to be overshadowed by Thanksgiving here in the U.S., I was like, well, we can go to the Monday night one. And so, yeah, I went out and I got my first game of Necromunda in. I got absolutely curb stomped. The guy giving me the demo, I could tell, felt kind of bad, like not guilty in the sense of like, you know, it was just my die rolls were terrible, and he got most of everything he needed and just curb stomped me good. And so it was fine, you know. I mean, I had a great time. I was just laughing and having fun. I think he was worried that I would think less of the game. He was like, you know, okay, it's okay. I can campaign play, like, you know, it'll kind of balance out because like I could take an injury roll. I'm like, no, dude. Like, I live for the wacky stuff. They don't know me over there, and so they don't know how much I really appreciate. Like, at one point, one of these girls got set on fire, and like had to run around screaming to try and put the fire out. And like, I think he thought, I don't know, that I was annoyed that I couldn't control my model or something. I was just having an absolute blast. I thanked him profusely afterwards, told him I had a great time. I'm not sure if he believed me. But he seemed like a cool guy. Let's see. 90s kid watching Cartoon Network after school and on Saturdays makes Venture Brothers my jam. Me as well. Same thing. Cartoon Network. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Nate says the video with Lore Master Sotek was great. Oh, thank you. Yeah, he was awesome. He's a class act. Really enjoyed having him on. I'm so happy. Well, I mean, after talking to him, I'm not sure how much of Fantasy Battles he actually played. I know he owns a bunch of the armies for him. But for the sake of Total War, you know, sticking around for a while, I'm glad that Fantasy Battles is coming back, if nothing else. Very excited for him and his channel. Really cool stuff. Okay, hair looks dry. We're gonna throw a wash in there. A little sepia. So I'm basically going to use this wash to kind of bring the lighter color, like where it's going to be bleached eventually, and the proper brown that it naturally is together a little bit. And then we're going to go over and pick it out with an even lighter color to get that really just like slightly off-white bleached look. Oop, keep hitting my microphone thing. There we go. Let's see. Doug, while you're doing a live chat the night I'm watching The Irishman, I don't know what that is. Irishman? Is that a movie? TV show? Democles. Hi there. I'm so sorry. I misunderstood when Mr. Mephisto invited me to the channel. I 100%, like until like 2 seconds before we went live, didn't understand that he meant, oh, we're going to be doing this on Twitch and I'll upload it later. Like that was 100% me. So I felt really bad. But you know, once we started, it's hard to like stay super engaged on camera while also like scrambling to go to all your social media things and be like, go over here, go over here, go over here. So I apologize for that. I thought he streamed straight to YouTube, but he doesn't. I didn't realize he does it on Twitch and then imports it. So I was like, oh, okay. But I'm glad you seem to enjoy it. Good to hear. It was an awesome chat. For some reason, I don't know. You know, you get these fragments of people from conversations they have, and it's just like, he's such a cool guy. You're just like, I want to hang out with him. It was a good time. Okay. The Irishman is the new Scorsese movie. Okay. All right, we're going to move into our next date night question. Let's do this. What are some things you think everyone should try at least once? Try at least once. Some things that you think everyone should try at least once. I'm going to say any kind of food. Like, it's just such an integral part of how like cultures developed. I think that, like, you know, engaging with the cuisine of a culture is like a great way to like introduce yourself to it. Beyond that, I'm not quite sure. I'm not very prescriptive when it comes to what other people should do. I guess road trip, honestly. I really like, I personally love road trips. So the more people who are doing that, it sounds awesome to me. Greetings from Germany. What's up? I'm not even going to try to pronounce that word you just typed in there. Not a lot of answers for the things that everyone should try once. That's all right. Not every question is going to be a winner. Let's see. I'm just going to get her belt real quick, and then I'll move on to the next one. Trying food was a good one. I mean, yeah. I think about it more culturally, but yeah. So I'm thinking... one of these two. I think this one for the bleached out hair. Oh, it's still got a bit. That wash still needs to dry. That's all right. We will move on to... Let's do the silver parts next. You think? No, we'll do the whip. Aquapar, as Chandler says. Raw meat in a bath with onions, pepper, and salt. Oh, and a band. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Where's the strangest place you've ever been? Included with that is you can, if it makes no sense or is kind of out of context, you can include your own personal definition of strange. So, strangest place that I have ever been personally? I have been down in the bottom of a septic tank. That was not great. Not a highlight of my life. Beyond that, what's another one? Strange place. Let's see. Hello from Kansas City. Hey, hey. Welcome, oh, welcome. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything like... I mean, I've been... I don't know. Like, I've been in strange situations, but it's never been location-based. You know what I mean? It's always just like a weird person who's there or something like that. Not so much... Good day, hello, AOS coach. What's up? What's up? Catching me on your lunch break, I assume. Just grabbing here, doing the shock whip, which I'm excited about. Looking pretty cool. An oil tanker in Africa to protect against pirates. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Okay, next one. Do you have any guilty pleasures? So, what do you like but are kind of embarrassed of? This is an interesting one. What do you like but are kind of embarrassed of? For me, I'm gonna say a lot of my music choice is like pop from the 90s. So it's just me wailing to like Alanis Morissette or something like that. I get a little quiet here. I'm just doing these quick details. And I'll be right back to chatting away. Gotta get Tina Turner's hair right. Can't mess this up. 90s white girl music. Yes, that is exactly what I said last night. If you guys haven't watched that, go check out Mr. Mephisto's YouTube channel. It was guested on last night. And I had an absolute blast. He's a stand-up guy. It was funny. He was telling me, like, oh, I'm so nervous to have you on. I was like, dude, I'm just a guy. Nothing special. All right. I like Pepsi for breakfast. Oh, that's an interesting one. Can honestly say I've never heard that. For me, anything too sweet. Not a big sweets in the morning guy. And also, at any point, if you have any questions that you want me to answer, you go ahead and throw it in the chat. You can either at me or type question in all caps, just something so I can see it and keep an eye out for it. But it's not just me asking questions. You're more than welcome to do so as well. Ghetto mimosas. Oh, that's a great one. I love mimosas because honestly, like, I generally, like, I don't drink a lot. I do drink, but not a lot, because I just get tired of drinking alcohol. Like, I would just rather drink other stuff after a while. And so that's why, I mean, I don't get drunk. Never have been, because I just reach a point where I'm like, I'm done drinking. Like, I'm done drinking fluids. It doesn't matter what it is. You can put anything in my hand. It could be water, it could be soda, it doesn't matter. I'm just done. And it's an interesting thing when you people reach that point. It's like, what do you mean? Yeah. What is your type of dog or pet? I have one house cat. His name is Finn. He's adorable. Right now he's locked out of the room so he's not jumping all over the painting desk. But I think I have a picture of him up on Instagram. I should. I feel like I do. Question. What is Thanksgiving like in the world of Doug? Being Australian, this holiday doesn't exist. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know a lot of its historical, like, you know, why we chose this day and all that kind of stuff. But basically, just we all decided, you know what we should do? We should be thankful for things. And so we picked a day on our calendar and was like, this is the day we're going to be thankful. And you think to yourself, why not do that every day? And the idea is, shut up. This is the day you get. And honestly, that's about all I know. Like, I'm not... let's see. Growing up, my mother... So she was a single mom, and so she worked on all the holidays, and so we rarely celebrated them. Like, we would do Christmas, but it was never on Christmas kind of thing. And so, I don't know. Like, it's funny, we're going over to a friend's house tomorrow because they're like, oh, what are you guys doing for Thanksgiving? We're like, nothing. Nothing. They're like, oh, you gotta come over. And so it's just weird to have people who are like so into it But basically it consists of a big meal, traditionally turkey or ham. And it's just a reason for families to get together, sit together, and talk about what they're thankful for. And also it kicks off the holiday season because right after we describe everything we're thankful for, we have Black Friday where we go out shopping and try to kill each other for great deals. So there's that. Okay, I think we are good to go on this silvers now. Holiday season started late September. Do you watch anime? If so, what is your favorite one? You know, I never really got into anime stuff. Like I've seen some that I really liked. I really liked Hellsing. That was a fun one to watch. But beyond that, I haven't really watched a ton. I guess I watched Full Metal Alchemist. That was an interesting one. What is it called? Yu Yu Hakusho. But yeah, no, I just the thing is that like I only ever watched the ones where someone was like, "Hey Doug, I want you to watch this," and introduced me to it. But I don't have enough knowledge of the, I guess the genre, the greater genre of anime, right? Because there's different kinds in terms of like horror, mystery, all that kind of stuff. Just like movies, where I could go find something new for myself. So I don't quite know enough for that, but that's a good question. Blades Creek. In my experience, saying I don't watch anime is a good way to get 10,000 anime recommendations. Oh, Cowboy Bebop. I did watch that one as well. Hey Doug, have you heard of any good Black Friday deals on terrain? Nope, I have not. But then again, I've kind of purged all vendors from my Facebook feed so I don't get constantly blasted with ads, so I'm not sure. I'm probably not the best person to ask. Because I'm sure they're out there. I have no doubt. Kenzie, question. Want to hear a secret? Sure. Go for it. If it has anything to do with Red Queen, I'm banning you from the chat. Not really, but you know what I mean. I'm going to pull up the next question while you do that. Kenzie got her sister's box early. Nice. Super secret. Keeping it secret, keeping it safe. There we go, Iron Warriors. That is awesome. Congrats, congrats. So you have a whole holiday weekend of building stuff ahead of you? My very good friend who is just too good for this world, Ben, has taken over building all of the Dark Uprising terrain because it's very overwhelming to look at it all, especially because I just came off of building the Warcry stuff. I don't know why Warcry was just escaping my brain there for a second. And so I bought the set, told him about it, and he was like, so, are you going to paint those? And I was like, oh, I'll take a look, see how complicated it looks. And he kind of kept asking. And so then I was like, do you want to build it? do you want to build it? Or are you just knowing this because you know I hate building things? And apparently he really wanted to build it because he cranked through, I think that first night, like a solid chunk of it. And I was just like, dang, dude, that would have taken me forever. It's funny. He is to building what I am to painting, where it's just like a lot of efficiency, time saving. You get into a rhythm. Let's see. Building the box and finishing a zombie dragon. Nice. Working on some gobos this holiday. What are you working on, Doug? This is House Escher, or the Escher gang from Necromunda. Played my first game on Monday. So there's a local group that is starting a campaign. It was supposed to start on Monday, but the guy who is running the campaign, like the arbiter or whatever the term they use is, to, like, you know, campaign manager basically, he got super sick, and so he had to bail. And I was like, well, that's perfect, because I would love to get a demo game in before like jumping in, right? I don't want like my first game to be a campaign game. That's intense, you know, because then you have to like a lot of stuff to keep track of and all that extra jazz. And so yeah, luckily it was like someone was like, oh yeah, well I want to test out my gang before we start playing the campaign, because even though he's played Necromunda, he's trying a different gang. I was like, sweet, let's do it. And yeah, so it was me and the Escher that they suggest you build from the starter box, like the old starter box, versus the new Chaos Cult from Dark Uprising. And I have to say, the Escher starter box, the way that they have you build this stuff, really was not super impressed by, because like the minute that game was over and I had some context for things, I was like, oh, I see what this faction's good at and what I could have done, you know, going over the various points in the battle, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, well, I could have done much better than that, but now I know. And so I grabbed a second box so I can build some alternate stuff and kind of do it more as I envisioned it. Although Lady with Bolter and Whip, this gal I'm painting right now, Tina Turner of my gang, was an absolute beast. Sam, I've taken a long break from painting. Are the contrast paints worth exploring? They are a really good tool. So for example, this model, actually, let me go back over to my other cam, because I have a fancy camera now. Give me 1 second here. There to adjust, so the light's a little intense. The light kind of washes that just a smidge, but that is done with the contrast skin. I think is top notch. Looks better in person, I promise. The yellow is contrast, which I have loved. The thing that I will say about the contrast paints is whenever GW talks about it, they tend to describe it as the contrast method or the classic paint method. And I think that's a terrible idea. The reason is I think there are just some colors that look better with traditional paints rather than contrast. And so I think the best thing is combining the two. And so, yeah, I don't know. That's my personal opinion. I think that's the real secret to success, combining the two together. So for example, like I did the yellow with Nazdrag Yellow, which is the contrast paint, on her outfit, but then I went back and did the coat that she's wearing around her shoulders with more traditional paints. And so, I don't know, like everything else, you just gotta experiment, see what works for you. But I do think they're good. Like I think they're a good product. A few things to keep in mind though is that they're not all equal. So some of them you'll want to thin out, some of them are great right out of the pot, and there's not really a rhyme or reason for it. I'm not quite sure why they have such different like consistencies in terms of the intensity of the pigment, but It just is. Also, if you have a Games Workshop store near you, at least the ones that are up in my area, like you can walk in and they generally have a set of contrast paints out for you to play with, so you can kind of get more acquainted. They do paint on a little bit. They almost feel like more of a gel medium than an acrylic medium. Which it just means like, when you load your brush, it just kind of feels a little bit different when you spread it around, I think. There are plenty of reviews, some positive, some negative. I think part of the negativity of some reviews comes from the idea, like when Games Workshop was promoting it, they promoted it first of all for way too long. There was like way too much of a build-up. I couldn't wait for the dang paints to be out, not to actually get the paints, but just for them to shut up talking about it. And in addition to that, they made it seem like it's contrast or the other paints instead of contrast is a tool for some colors. Like the colors that I think are amazing are the flesh tones, and generally the browns are really good. Really good browns. And they're generally good right out of the pot. The only one that's not of the browns that I don't care for out of the pot is Cygor brown. And that one, it's just a little too intense. Like you might as well just paint Dryad Bark, which is a darker brown that they have as a typical paint or a normal paint, whatever you want to call it. But I do think they're good. They have a lot of value. The only thing they're not good at, I'll be honest with you, is big flat surfaces. That's the biggest piece of advice that I could give you, is don't paint anything like a Space Marine would look. They generally don't look good. But something that has a lot of texture, like furs, again, why browns are so good, absolutely go for it. This is a weird choice for my R&B collection. Gorgonta Fur is my favorite. Yeah, that's a fantastic one. Certainly one of the best. And it dry brushes really well too. Here we go. Next date night question. How much social interaction is too much for you? All right, if you had a turkey timer built inside of you, it went ding, Doug is done, right? When are you just done, tapped out with humanity? For me, it directly corresponds to how much driving I have to do. If I have to drive a lot, I get done a lot faster. But generally on like a good day, I don't know, I have intense social interaction, like being out with friends or that kind of thing, probably about 3-4 hours. And I'm like, I want to go home. Song's a little loud, I can definitely turn it down. Oh yeah, it is. It's blaring that level on that thing. Let's skip this one. Thank you for saying something. There we go, that's a little more chill. I'm good for like a baseball game length. Yeah. Thank you for speaking up on the volume issue. I super appreciate it. It's weird that it's on the R&B playlist. I don't know. I like hanging out with people. It just really exhausts me, and so at a certain point I was like, you know what I want to do? I want to go hang out with my cat. I just want to not impress anybody. For some reason, live streaming doesn't have that same effect on me. Like I can live stream pretty much all day. I did like a 6-hour thing at one point without any issues. But I mean, I think it's because I'm alone. You know, I'm just kind of talking about my thoughts, that kind of stuff. Whereas if I'm around people, you know, all the other things in terms of like reading body language and how jokes are taken and what the general like vibe is of a room. That kind of stuff gets a little overwhelming after an extended period of time. Baseball is the best. I did not expect that. I don't know many people who are young and like baseball. Sports are one of those things that, like, whenever I go to a game, always have a great time. I generally don't know what's going on, but I always enjoy myself just to get out a little bit, try something different. But I just can't watch it. Like on television, I mean. Like, it just... And then, like, people around here, like in the Seattle area, whenever the Seahawks are doing super well, people just get into, like, rage fits when stuff doesn't go on. It's like, I don't understand. Your ways are not my ways. Okay. Silicon, Black Templar. Live experience is way better. Yeah. I find that way with most things. That, like, when you're at it, you're like, oh, okay, I get why people like this. And then the second, you try to do that same experience, like, in a different way, meaning watch it on television or something, you're like, nah. Give her these 3 crow black feathers here. I might go paint the tips of them with some color, maybe a purple. Something that pops. My gang for the Necromunda campaign is called the Fabulous Riots. So that's what we got to paint. Some fabulous looking riots. Does anyone think the Ossiarch Bone Reapers are good? Many people think that they are incredibly good. Many people. They got some pretty stellar rules, just straight up. I don't think they're going to be everybody's play style, as my white man just pointed out. They're good, but they're boring, and that's obviously an opinion, hot take, but oops, sorry. But it emphasizes the point really well. Just going to paint some green inside this casing here, because her bolter, the gun that she's rocking, is a combi weapon, if you know what that means, because you don't do anything with 40k. Basically, it's a rifle that has a second gun built into it, kind of like how in Call of Duty you have the noob tube, the grenade launcher that you can put in a rifle. But hers is called a needler, and so it shoots poison darts, which is just cool. So now we're going to tackle her jacket with some Carrick stone. Yeah, for the hot second that I was thinking about doing a Bone Reaper army, the Petrifex Elite was what I was going to do. And the reason I did that purely was for the paint scheme, because the Bone Reaper models never super gripped me until I saw that scheme, and I was just like, that looks sick. And then I found out that they're actually super good because turns out universal +1 save to your army, not bad. Who knew? Especially when there's a myriad of ways to get rerolls and shrugs and that kind of stuff. Let's see. I heard you like guns, so I added a gun to your gun. Exactly. That's the thing, like, so the gentleman I was playing against knows that I'm really into Warcry. I was chatting about the terrain and that kind of stuff. And after we got done with our game, one of the guys asked me, like, oh, how do you like it compared to Warcry? So, like, what Necromunda compared to Warcry? I was like, I really appreciate the straightforwardness and simplicity of Warcry. I think it's actually my favorite aspect of it. But it doesn't allow you, because the rules are so simplified, to do some of the crazy things that make Necromunda or the old Mordheim game incredibly fun. So for example, like, my fighter last night went on fire and ran around in circles because you use a scatter die to determine which direction you're going once you're on fire. And all you can do is basically drop to the ground and hope that you go out. Like stop, drop, and roll. And I just thought that was stinking hilarious. Like, that's the kind of stuff I'm like, I love the wackiness. But the thing is, it's funny because even though it seems random and wacky, like, an immense amount of thought went into the rules to make that event happen, in terms of like the burn effect, or it's not burn, but you know what I mean, blaze. I don't think one is superior, I just think they're very different. Mixing a little powdered witch flesh into a concoction there. Just to get some more extreme highlights on this coat so we can be done with it. I don't think I can win this campaign, but I can certainly have a great looking army while I lose, or gang while I lose. Oh, this is another one where the music seems kind of intense. That's why I don't stray far from my calm playlist. Sorry, everybody. Okay. Wonder how many internets would explode if the retro Warhammer actually brings back the Tomb Kings. I don't know. I'd be fine with it. Yeah, that's the thing. I was trying to convey that on Rantcast last night. That's like, I don't know why. I got flood of messages the day that announcement dropped of people asking me, like, aren't you mad? Like, kind of a leading question of, I should be mad that Fantasy Battles is coming back. I'm like, no, dude, like, people love this stuff. What are you talking about? More people being happy is just good. But I don't know. Let's see. I'm nothing but excited for folks. I'm just not one of the people who... I mean, that's not true. I was going to say I'm not one of the people who would play it, but that's not even true. I would absolutely play it. I'm absolutely going to try it. Just painting some pallid witch flesh over the hair to kind of make it even more of a stark white, because you know it's kind of getting a little close to the khaki of the coat, so we need to break that smidge, pull a little more color out, make it look a little more Tina Turner bleached. There we go, that's looking a little better. And we'll probably do another wash just to pull upward a smidge to kind of blend these pieces together even a hair more. I think that's a good idea. Let's do that real quick. Get it a hair more as I paint the hair. Hey-o. Self 5. Michael Hammond. Hey all, happy Thanksgiving Eve. It is Thanksgiving Eve. I was at work today and my boss came in about 8 o'clock because I get there early before everyone else, and said pretty much without any questions like, hey, so we're probably all gonna leave early today. There's just nothing going on. I don't want to be out in traffic. And I was like, okay. Got to do some commission painting to pay for stuff. That is a noble endeavor. I'm kind of hoping. That's not true. I was gonna say I'm kind of hoping that people will ask me to paint some of their stuff for the Necromunda thing. That's not necessarily true. Some of those guys are great painters. So we got our gloss and basic. AJ, do the General's Handbooks come out at the first of each year? No, it's generally July. Ooh, almost lost her. Yeah, generally June or July. During AOS's birthday. Because the game launched July 4th, I believe. And so it's always either the 4th or the 5th or something like that, somewhere around there. Question, are you rooting for Vampirates for AOS or Old World? I mean, I'm open to anything. Truth of the matter is, I'll be super honest, I don't like root for very specific things, mainly because I don't want to be disappointed. Stuff I'd like to see is like grot pirates. But yeah, I mean, I want vampires in some capacity. Absolutely. There's no question there that I think a fantasy setting without some vampire is a sad one indeed. But, I don't know. I tend not to have like, oh man, I hope I get this thing, right? I'm just like, RTW, I'm along for the ride. Take me wherever you want me to go. It's basically how I am. Let's see, I had a buddy bring a pile of broken, poorly sprayed, painted Slaves to Darkness into the store, said he wanted to learn, but didn't want to fix these. There you go. Write that off as your charity for the year. Helping that dude out. It's hard to always explain to somebody that like doesn't understand the hobby aspect of this game, of this grander hobby, that like, no, I promise you will have more fun if you play with painted models. They're like, but I don't want to paint them. I'm like, but I promise. You know what I mean? But you can't. It's a huge ask to get someone to like invest in all the paints and learn how to paint and all this kind of stuff. But it's like, no, dude, I promise it's more fun if you just learn to paint your models. How complex are Nurgle to play? I'm not a beginner, but I want a platform to learn more. You know, I can't rightly say because I haven't actually played my Nurgle. Like I've just started painting him a little bit. 1 second. There we go. We shot the bone. But you know, I've seen people at all different stages in the hobby play them. Whether it's their first army, because they got a sweet deal on like Blight War or something, or they've been playing for a while and hopped over. Like it doesn't seem to be particularly scary. Like in terms of like learning and stuff. I'm gonna switch this playlist. This sucks. They just go from like really nice chill music to like crazy guitar riffs are not sexy, which is like, it's just not R&B / romance like I'm going for. Killing my vibe. There we go. Rock out, Doug. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think they're incredibly complex. Like I think there's a lot to remember, but if you were to make a really well done like reminder sheet, which you should go check out AOS Reminders. They do a great job. Basically, it's a website where you type in your army, what units you're using, and they just import all the rules phase by phase so you don't forget anything. I'm going to do a plug for them, like a dedicated video plug for them in just a smidge. But it's really cool stuff. Awesome, I started with Idneth. Oh yeah, you're fine. Because if you can remember like the tides and all that stuff from Idneth, the wheel doesn't work drastically different. You're good. Local Game Shop is starting a thing in a narrative campaign. A buddy of mine and I are going to team up our sister armies. Oh, okay, 40k campaign. That's awesome. Was your buddy able to get a box as well? Like, did they receive theirs? Or they have to wait like everybody else? Let's see. Doug, you're the man. Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you. Sold my loyal Marines. World Eater player, and I'll never change. Nice. Yeah, I was trying to think. If I had to pick a Chaos faction, I think I would definitely go for Word Bearers. I like their backstory and how integral they were in everything that went down. That's probably what I'd pick as Word Bearers. But I do think that the World Eaters are freaking dope. Plus, my favorite of the Primarch models is definitely Lorgar. Got that super imposing stance, just sitting there staring at you. He's like, "Come at me, bro." Like how they are a dark reflection of the Imperium's religion. Absolutely. And that's the thing. If you ever want to get like super into Word Bearers, listen to the independent characters coverage of the Horus Heresy books. Because I don't know if it's the last one. I don't think it's the last one, but the one that had Ultramarines and like the big, not like the Black Library books, but I mean like the big campaign books they put out in support of Horus Heresy Gaming. The independent characters channel does reviews of those, and the one they did for a huge mess all of a sudden. Give me 1 second. The one they did for the book that has Word Bearers and Ultramarines, that's what it was, the Ultramarines, is one of the coolest stories ever. Lorgar is super BA. Deserves all the praise. Alright, let me deal. I've got a whole bunch of water on my palette here. Turns out, shiny new palette doesn't matter if it's full of water. Betrayal at Calth. Yes, that's what it is. Thank you. Yes. Well, I don't know if that's what the book was called, but it's certainly, yeah, Calth was the planet that they Here we go. Doug, are you off work for Thanksgiving? Yes, I actually have Thanksgiving and Black Friday off. I work for a very small company, and the boss is doing Thanksgiving with his family on the day after Thanksgiving because of travel and family and stuff. And so he's like, well, I'm not going to be here. You guys aren't going to be here. And so he let us all off for the day. And I was like, yay. So that's exciting. Typical stuff. New mat. Yes. Yes, I just went out today and grabbed it, actually. A light little dry brush of Wolfthorn Gray to really make some of these parts pop. But where was I? Oh, it's about the Horus Heresy stuff. Yeah. I love independent characters. Their coverage of the Horus Heresy campaign stuff is just top notch. Do a great job of not only like talking about it, but doing it so in a way that makes you want to go buy the book. Like they don't spoil everything, but they cover the beats really, really well. Gorthor Brim. 30K, yeah. 30K is one of those things that, like, I love narrative gaming. Like, honestly, if there was anyone around me who would play it, like, I would definitely do historical games because I would get into it. I love history. The problem is the folks locally who have tried to do historical games, they do so because they think it's like an alternative to 40K, and so they build these crazy wacky lists that have no, I don't know, like I feel like they don't get into the spirit of the historical stuff, and so I'm like, I don't want to play. Point is, that's what I kind of think about Horus Heresy gamers that same way, where it's just like, this is what Horus did, bro. This is how we're going to reenact. And you're like, but I could take this other unit and it would be so much better. You're like, yeah, but it wasn't there. It wasn't there. Right now I'm just touching up some of the brown bits on her hands, like I missed her thumb somehow. Here we go. Just patching up a few spots of brown that I missed on her skin. Sam Cook with a hot take. Horus Heresy is for if you want rules that feel like 40K rather than an inferior copy of AOS. Wait, so you're saying that current 40K is an inferior copy of AOS? Because that's a spicy take, and I like it. Let's see. I used to hate 8th. I don't play it, but people love it so much I've grown to accept it. Yeah, I don't mind it. I just I don't know, it doesn't have the same fun factor to me. I guess I'm not sure what it is, to be honest with you. Part of it is I just never got on board with the battalion system that they have, or when you're building your army. Even the times where I have enjoyed games, like that was just a part of it that I was just like, I don't like this. I'm not quite sure what that is, to be honest with you. I don't know. Locally, it's honestly the reason I play it a whole lot locally is because the most reliable games that I could get are against folks who are very, very competitive, and that's just not my jam. Like, I mean, and they enjoy their hobby that way, and that's super cool. Happy for them. Not my jam. Just trying to get this yellow to pop just right. Okay, that's good. places that I missed that I wanted yellow. Had a wonderful time on Mr. Mephisto's Rantcast last night, if you haven't seen it. So it featured on Twitch, first of all. It streamed on Twitch. And then he uploaded it to the YouTubes, which I was very grateful for, because I accidentally led people the wrong direction in my post. Unknowingly, of course. But I had an absolute blast, so y'all should go check that out. I super appreciate it. Okay, what else do I need? You know what? I feel like her face doesn't have a whole lot of highlights, so we're going to try and throw some Shabti Bone in with the Gorthor Brown. Let's see what this gives us. There we go. Try it out. You think that Horus was correct, i.e. the Emperor was trying to become a god at the expense of mankind, or do you think it was all baloney? I think it was a whole lot of miscommunication taken to the extreme. The Emperor didn't communicate what his plan for humanity was enough, and so outside influences took advantage of the confusion and the hurt feelings. And it was taken to an extreme far beyond what was expected. Let's see how that looks. Trying to get a sense of like when the highlight is quite right. I think this is looking better. It's hard because like it's on her, like the place I'm trying to highlight is her forehead and then the bridge of her nose. Which are both these like just very perfectly raised areas that can be kind of hard to see because the light reflects. And what I'll do is I'll throw her in the booth over there and show off the paint scheme here in just a hot second. There we go. Let me get her over there real quick. See if I can get this figure video. Trying to make it so that the light is not super killer. There we go. So she looks a little washed out because the lights are super harsh, but she doesn't look quite that. I don't know. She looks good. I'm gonna say she looks good. What else am I missing? Still got to do. Love the bolt gun. It is just dark iron metal, and over that I put the green orc skin contrast paint, like on that little section right there. Yeah, and that's it. And just a wash. No. So I just gotta finish up with a few little recess washes. And somehow I got brown on the yellow, so we gotta fix that right quick. I like that lightbox cam. Now I can properly see your models on stream. Yeah, I still gotta figure out the lighting situation to make it, because you're not seeing what I see in terms of like the model didn't look quite right, but like it didn't have realistic color. I gotta figure out the lighting thing, but yeah, I thought it was a cool idea. I was, I've always said to people and mostly my patrons, like, the money that I receive from folks, it does go back into the channel, and so this was one where that's exactly that. So my 2+ tough Christmas present to the channel was I went and did a little bit of shopping online, spent some money from the coin purse, and I got a new desk, which you're seeing, and it is immensely better for my back because it sits up higher, as well as the new camera, the new light box, all that kind of stuff. So the biggest thing, honestly, is just it's really good for my back. But at least I can see it. Yeah. Lincoln Disc, thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna do a just to thank everybody for their support for the year. During the holidays, I was gonna do a pretty low effort video of just showing people like, hey, this is what my workspace looks like. This is what Patreon funds go to. Thank you everybody, and thank everybody who's been kind enough to support me this last year. Yeah, that is the plan. So I can show off the new desk, that kind of stuff. Like, people had asked me before, like, oh, can you show off your workspace? And I think they always assumed it was like one of those like super sexy, like, studio painter looking things. And it was the most rickety hunk of IKEA junk that's ever been pulled out of a dumpster. It was my old desk. And it was too short because it's made for like a Swedish guy named Bjorn, who is like half my height. And it was just super uncomfortable. And hated it, but it was what I had to work with. I'm not gonna lie, she is looking pretty cool. Doug, aren't the Swedish famously tall? You'd think so, but then they made IKEA and everything's for short people. So I don't know. Maybe they just have less back problems. I don't know what's going on over there. Got some folks talking about the Horus Heresy. I won't interject and interrupt you. Let me see here. All right, I got a date night question for us. Who is your favorite author? And I'm going to open this up. Doesn't have to be Black Library or Games Workshop related. Just a favorite author. For me, it is... I really like Aldous Huxley. But I know he's not everyone's jam. Let's see, where did my... I had one girl that was fully painted. I don't know where I put her. Oh. Duh, I left her in the camera. Okay. So we're going to do her base while... Because the girl we've been working on needs to dry for a hot second. So in the meantime, we will do the base on the previous one. Terry Brooks, John Green... Some good responses there. I decided that the world of 40K and mostly 30K was too hard because there's too many books to consume, so I'm just gonna Wikipedia all of that noise and then kind of jump into 40K lore with Necromunda stuff, because it's like, you know, small, little, compact part of the 41st millennium. You can get used to certain concepts, and I'll be playing a bunch. And it's going to be on the channel. I'm going to be doing Necromunda content at some point. When, I'm not exactly sure. Actually, I'm just going to do the rims of these four, because I'm not doing anything specifically crazy for the bases. So as of right now, yeah, so like I'm going to be start doing Warcry stuff, and in the background of doing that, since that one's, it's almost all painted, in the background I'm going to be painting Necromunda, and then eventually we'll jump into that on the channel as well, and then just kind of like hop around like narrative campaigns and that kind of stuff, and storytelling is kind of my idea of the future, I'll be honest with you, mainly because it sounds super exciting. I love the idea of skirmish games where you can just kind of like, you know, do these really cool storytelling things in a very small space, shorter amount of time. I have, so like my little effects that I can do for videos, like I did the Stormcast going up in a lightning bolt thing. I have a lot more of those for like action movies, and so Necromunda stuff can actually have like gunshots and that kind of thing. You know, I think it's gonna look a lot cooler. Okay, Spezia, question. So the Bone Daddies, they collect bones, and Stormcast have no bones. Does this piss Nagash off even more, fighting them? Because no souls or bones. Well, they can actually steal the souls of Stormcast before they go back to Azir. Some of the units can. So there is a resource to be gained by fighting them. It's not necessarily that it like ticks Nagash off specifically, that they don't have bones. It's more an inconvenience because, you know, they fight Stormcast Eternals. Some of the Bone Reapers get smashed down, so that would replete. There's resources to build them are not being replenished. So it is annoying, but it's not necessarily like the reason. You know, Nagash has more reasons to hate Sigmar than just that. Is kind of what I'm trying to say. But good question. Wait, hold up. Stormcast don't have bones. Well, what we're talking about is just... Yeah, they can take their armor off. But when a Stormcast dies, they turn to lightning and go to Azir. While they're alive, they do. They do have bones. They can take off their armor, run around, dance in the field. There was a very, we'll lightly call it homoerotic scene at the beginning of Black Pyramid where, what's his bucket? Not Tornus. The guy who is in charge of the Hallowed Knights. Only the faithful dude. Can't think of his name right now. It's going to bug me and one of you guys is going to say it. But he was like almost buck naked in like a robe doing like sword exercises. And I was like, what am I reading? Gardas. There we go. Thank you. Yes, it was Gardas. Just an arm or a leg cut off and there's your Stormcast bones? Yes. But I feel like that's easier said than done. Cannot confirm. Haven't fought one. Regardless of if they walk away with a few bones from the Stormcast, I do think that there's definitely like a... There would naturally be more resources expended than you get back, which is kind of the whole point of the Bone Reapers. Like they're trying to build up their numbers with the tithe. So that math does them no favors. Definitely just picked up this model by the base without thinking about the fact that I just made it all wet paint. That wasn't wise. Let's see if I can put it down without ruining it. Yeah, not too bad. Sometimes I just do stupid stuff. You know, we're all there. I'm glad it's caught on camera for the internet to see for forever. Question, have you finished painting all your Death Guard? I actually sold off the Death Guard. I wasn't playing 40k. I wasn't getting into the game. And even the Tau stuff that I just got like at a steal, I resold it for the same price as I got it because I was like, I'm just not into it. And as I was really changing my focus to be on, what do you call it? Skirmish games, I was like, okay, well maybe I can use these guys in Kill Team, right? And do like narrative stuff for that. And then look at the Kill Team book. I'm like, why don't I just play Necromunda? Because it's just much better for the storytelling elements in terms of there's rules to convey more. And I was like, let's just do that. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So sadly, no Death Guard or Tau for me. The closest thing I have to 40k is what you see right now, which is a gang from Necromunda. Now, in addition to this, though, I do have two other gangs. I have the Goliaths and Khador. Yeah, that's all there is to it. So that's why. Weather Pig model painting. Thanks for the stream. Again, some repetitive painting. Yeah, that's the whole point. Is this is just making those very boring stretches of painting bearable. Omniphage pro tip: if you haven't seen Doug with an army recently, the army is gone. That is a very good rule of thumb. Have you painted up all the Beasts of Chaos yet? All the ones that I will ever paint, yes, back in February when I got rid of the army. Let's see here. 1 second. I'm just looking for a color. Here we go. I don't have Jack to tease, so sorry, Doug. No problem. He's actually moving right now. If I were a better friend, I'd be helping him. But he got off of work later and also lives like a while away. A while away for a weeknight run to go help move. Ho, Jack. Is he finally being moved into a retirement home? That is savage. I love it. Is Feast of Bones still hard to get? Like, I know they stopped selling it, but are people still having trouble finding it? Who want it? Because there's like a store locally. I walked in there and he had like 6 copies, and I was like, dude, you got to put these up on eBay or something, bro. He was like, oh, you know, we want to keep stock for like the locals and that kind of stuff. I was like, I mean, okay, you're leaving money on the digital table. Let's see. Matt asks, what's Necromunda like? Necromunda I'm just going to warn you, it's a very cumbersome rule set to first learn. The most important thing you can do is try to understand what they're trying to convey with the rules, and it makes more sense. But what is it like? So the 8 models you see in front of you, some are off camera. These 8 gals are a gang focused on toxins and poisons. Like, this lady has a shotgun that has acid rounds in it, which is just rad. This lady's got a gas canister that works like a flamethrower, and she just shoots poison gas at people. And you're fighting over resources. The thing that I like about it is there's a lot of things that are like Warcry, right? Where I think personally the game is a narrative game first that can also sometimes be played for match play. Like, Necromunda is not really great for match play. It's not a balanced game, really. The scenarios aren't necessarily balanced at all, that kind of stuff. Weird random dice things happen. I love that stuff. And same thing with Warcry, where it's like, you know, depending on the deployment and terrain, that kind of stuff, all of a sudden your game is just super one-sided and you have to like reset up. That's whatever. So yeah, I like it. It focuses on narrative play, particularly campaign play, because unlike Warcry, this warband over the course of the next several weeks as I play in this campaign locally is going to change dramatically. Some are going to die permanently. Some are going to get injuries. Some are going to like level up. There's a lot more granularity with the system, so like people can get incrementally better at things. They can gain new skills. These guys are all about movement and speed and toxins, and so one of my things is like, normally when you get shot, you go down because you're being shot at and you're hiding behind stuff. They can spring up without spending an action, like in Warcry. They're similar in the sense that, like, if I were to tell you the broad strokes of, you get a small gang of fighters, when you pick one, you get to do 2 actions, and there's different kinds of actions, that kind of stuff. It's similar in that regard. It just gets a lot more complex with the weapon choices, campaign play, that kind of stuff. So yeah. Kenzie, question: how do you feel about attempting to adapt 40k models like Sisters to Necromunda rule set? Well, I certainly like that a heck of a lot more than like Space Marines. Like, Sisters of Battle exist. Like, people will go their entire lives in the 40k universe without seeing a Space Marine, but they will have seen a Sister of Battle in some capacity. So I think Sisters would fit right in just as much as Gene Stealer Cults does, right? And they're allowed in Necromunda. So yeah. And so some of the stuff that happens in Necromunda that I think is really cool. So for example, the game that I play, the demo game, I think it was this girl. Pretty sure it was her. She got shot. Okay, so immediately you get shot, you get pinned, it's called. That's when you go down because you're trying to hide from in cover. She got shot. She got set on fire. And so when you're set on fire, you roll a scatter die, which is just a die with an arrow, and you move 2d6 that direction randomly. She ran to a wall, and she tried to get down, tried to put the fire out. and just like crazy stuff like that. And there's a lot of rules to kind of walk you through that, so it seems cumbersome, but what you're representing is hilarious and awesome, right? Like, and that's why I like it. And that's why I like Warcry, where it's just like, you know, in Warcry the other night, I had a game. I threw a harpoon at a dude, pulled him off a 2-story building. It was an ogre, and that was sweet. Like, that's why you play these games, for real skis. So, yeah, thought that kind of stuff was cool. I had this kind of thought. This seems like good conversation fodder. Where the more that I play these kinds of games is I think of them less and less as games. And I think about them more as experiences. And someone, I don't know, someone like AOS Coach, pipe in, tell me your thoughts on this. Where I've kind of reached this point where if you guys have ever heard of those escape rooms where like you and your friends, you get locked inside of a room and you have to like use clues and stuff to break out of there. And if you do it in a certain amount of time, you win, basically. So it's like a big meta game, but it's not really a game, right? It's an experience. It's something you do for a fun night with your friends. And that's kind of the more and more I get into the Games Workshop hobby, that tends to be where my mind goes, where it's like I don't care about winning. I care about having a good experience and that my friends have a good experience. So, I mean, that does matter when it comes to stuff like game balance, because a better balanced game ensures that we all have a better experience together having fun. But I'm so not competitive at all. I don't have that gene in my body. I don't know. So, it's interesting. Ryan Reynolds, you play as a Gene Stealer cultist in Necromunda? Yeah. Yes, you absolutely can. And they're pretty good, too. They got some crazy looking weapons. Even if I lose, my army is Kit Bastion pretty, so I win. Exactly. You know, and it's good to win. Like, there's nothing wrong with like being like, yes, I won the game. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I do that. It's more that like, yeah, I can't think of another way to word it. Like, it's not, to me, a game to be won. It's an experience to be had. I don't know. I super agree with Honest Wargamer's range. 40 to 60% win-lose ratio is the goal for every army. I've never heard him say that. That's really awesome. I'll have to reach out to him and be like, cool stuff, bro. Yeah, I do like that. Because that means there's game. We can all be like looking at different things going on in the hobby. Yeah, that's super legit. Okay, so walking through my Necromunda gang here, I have my leader, Tina Turner. That's not actually going to be her name, but she's based off that hair-wise. We got Tina Turner. We have 2 champions. One has a plasma pistol. One's got a shotgun with acid rounds in it, because I thought that sounded so baller. And then I have, 5 chumps. And one of the chumps is the chumpiest of chumps. She's called a Juve. She's someone who just started in the gang. She's trying to prove herself. So here's my question. The reason I went through all of that. What color should the Juve's hair be? I want it to be something bold, like she's seeking attention, right? She wants everyone to notice her, be cool, so she gets props. So yeah. Chat is so lively and active tonight. Yeah. So we gotta vote for hot pink. So I have that first girl that I showed did some pink. That's about the brightest pink that I can do. We'll do that one. We'll see how that turns out. With a moot green base. I like it. Second the neon pink. Okay, we're gonna go for it. I might do neon pink with a black stripe. Just like in the center, kind of like how I did the head crests for my Fire Slayers forever ago. Just so it's not all, I want to break it up just a smidge. These models are so incredibly well sculpted, you really got to work the paint into those little ridges of the hair. But I did for the first time. I picked up, so this pink I have now, the pink horror layer paint. I actually went through and I did the lips on all of them, so they all have super pink lipstick. And they turned out pretty well. You know, it's pretty tame on most of them. I'm still not. Here's the thing. I'm not super sold on this model, my Tina Turner one, and I'm considering doing purple or pink in her hair as well instead of the Tina Turner look. And the reason is it's just not popping off of the jacket that I want to be khaki. So I'm thinking about doing something else. Because I use thin enough paints that I can just go over the blonder parts and it'll be fine. So I'm kind of just pausing, waiting for the chat here. So someone can tell me I'm crazy. But yeah, I want her to pop a little bit more. I want to be like super rad. Go with your gut, Ma Tribes 2019. Actually, so she is one of the three people in my faction that has poison stuff. I might do like a highlight green. That'd be kind of rad, because then she would go with the pink gal, a couple pink gals. I could do some green. Yeah, let's do that. How does that sound? So I'll do highlighter colors for pink, blue, and green. So tell me your thoughts on those three. Tyler Miller has got back on. I don't know what you're referring to, but I'm here to tell you you're crazy. I'm trying to pick out colors, like bold Riot Girl colors for my leader here. Love it. Okay. Pink ladies from Greece. I haven't seen Greece in, oh my god, so many years. The only way I want to remember John Travolta is the gif of him looking confused and lost from Pulp Fiction when he kind of just walks in the room like, that's it. That's all he is to me. Mix some green with some yellow and you'll get quite a vibrant green. Here's some yellow. That is indeed vibrant. Thank you for the pro tip, my friend. If you don't know, this guy over here talking about colors, Sean Blake, is a commissioned painter for, is it High Life Painting? I might actually do a yellow wash and then pick it out with a more highlighty color. And someone asked, what gang is this? This is Escher. Yeah, I like this more. Definitely popping on. Okay. I'm just kind of highlighting that green on our barrel since I already have the right green for it out. So now we'll get some more of this yellow-green concoction. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with the chat here and also paint. I'm sorry I'm doing this off camera. It's just kind of awkward because only certain angles of the light can really help me. I apologize. Just realized I was doing that. Kind of kept shrinking back and back and back. Yeah, I think this is good. I think it definitely looks, she looks meaner. And I'll do a wash to kind of make sure I don't lose the recesses, and then I'll just do a quick highlight again. Question, Doug, have you thought about putting your lore series on audio out like Spotify? I actually have. I did a message to my patrons. So basically with all the things going on YouTube right now, with the platform changing, just to kind of like hedge my bets, I've started downloading. This whole week I've been doing it, and I'm actually doing it right now in the background, is re-downloading my content for myself, and then I'm going to extract the audio and throw it back up in podcast format, and I might put it on Spotify. I don't really know how to do that, but I will figure it out. And yeah, that is part of the plan. Ever paint Magnus with or without his nipple suit? Nope, never had. Never had a reason to paint Magnus yet. My buddy Ben has a Magnus. I don't think he's painted. I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you. But I don't think he is. It's a big old project. You gotta like really mean it. You don't just I got nothing else on my desk. I think I'll paint Magnus. Like, no, you better mean that. trying to think on the next one. I want to grab someone with a different skin color, so it doesn't look like I'm saying only the black gangers have green hair. Here we go. And hers, I'll make hers just completely green. I will say that I do like the pink the most, but having a few other clashing riotous colors I think is good. Breaks it up a little bit. Doug A. West Reminders is fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I'm going to do like I said before, I'm going to do a deeper dive into that and talk about some of its features. Davis Ford, the gentleman who kind of orchestrates that whole mess, because he got a lot of volunteers who put a lot of hard work into it, reached out to me and asked if I could talk about it a bit. And I was like, oh, yeah, dude, this is like right up my alley. I'm always doing content for newer folks or folks who are switching armies and trying to get excited about stuff with lore. Like, oh yeah. You're coming for the part of the night where my cat freaks out because he can't get into the room easily. I don't actually want to be in there, but I want to know that I could be in there if I wanted to be. Think about doing my Bone Reapers like Aztecs. Oh, look at them. They look great. There's a few turquoise kind of schemes, like things that you see, mineral types and that kind of stuff that you would see with Aztec stuff out there, and they look rad. This lady's here to dry faster. Welcome to 2+ Hobby Hang, where we literally all together watch paint dry. All right, Ryan Reynolds, question: how do you approve writing for your lore videos? How do you approve writing? I'm wanting to do videos on Black Library novels. I want to avoid me just babbling on for 10 minutes in each video. Oh, I mean, how do I like keep things concise? I use show notes. I do very extensive show notes, and that's why it is so hard to do multiple days of content back to back to back to back to back, like the 5 days I used to do. And the reason is so like everything I say, I make a big outline for myself, and I kind of break it down to like, so let's say I was going to do, what's a battle tome? War clans, right? I'm going to do like, what are Iron Jaws? Talk about the heroes, talk about the units, and anything else that stands out to me. So yeah, I kind of break it down into manageable sections, and then within those sections go through and like work out what do I need to convey in this? Like, you know, when someone ends this video, they should walk away knowing blank, right? Alright, y'all. I'm having my Kronk from Emperor's New Groove moment when I go, oh yeah, it's all coming together. She looks baller. I don't know how well the camera will capture it, but I will throw it in the light box for y'all. Kid Bash Kronk has an iron jaw. Oh yeah. It's all coming up, Morka. Let me throw her in there. It's so weird that the camera focuses better when there's something else in the frame as well. So let me see if I can get like... There we go. That looks a little better. Maybe it's just my hand hovering over some of the light that makes it focus right. Anyway, yeah, sorry. So that's what we're looking at. Got that cool Riot Girl look. I'll try to move my hand around so you can get different light views to see if... looks pretty close. Still a little harsh. That's basically what it's looking like. So we'll scoop her back up. And we'll go back over here. All right. Of course, I just dropped her. Awesome. Off to a great start. So, and there's a website called a Yak Tribe, and if you guys have not been to it, it's a site where you can build in excruciating detail war bands for Necromunda. And so my ladies are called the Fabulous Riots, and right her, she's the leader of the gang, and her name is Rava. So we're going to write Rava on her base. Rava. Where's the one that I need? 1, 2, 3, 4. Spezia, I would 10,000% buy a shirt with your face on it that says 5 foot and fabulous. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's the thing. In addition to moving us further towards dystopia, I do think Instagram does one negative thing for the hobby modeler, in the sense of, you know, to post your model on Instagram, we typically take very detailed, like up close shots of our models. No, which is fine, but when the, like, you know, quote unquote pro painters do too, it's easy to feel like, oh, I don't stack up, I don't want to share my stuff, you know, that kind of thing. It's like, it's just not true. Because when you're playing a game, none of that matters. Are there crazy Necromunda units you want to recruit for your gang? The guys at the store, because I don't know all those like crazier things. The guys at the store were really pushing me to get, or at least check out. They weren't like asking me to buy anything, but to check out. There's like a cat or like a panther or something that the Escher Girls King have in their gang. Like, it's kind of like their thing. Or something. Maybe I just misunderstood how unique it was to these girls, but so that sounds cool. we go, Rava. Not my best work. Let's see if I can do better with a brush. See if we can clean this up a smidge. My big surprise, which I will spoil here completely, for my Warcry stuff, is that I'm actually partnering with a company from the UK that makes these little like resin nameplates that fit model bases. So you deck them out in super cool looking fonts and that kind of stuff, and you glue it onto the actual base and have their name printed nice and bold and clear. And so that's what I'm going to do with the Warcry Warband for their campaign. But these guys, or ladies, I wanted to get them ready like for the campaign that starts like next week, and so I just don't have the time to wait. So that's why I'm painting on the names. There we go. Rava, and what is this girl's name? So we have Plasma Pistol, Talia. Sounds like an awesome service. Yeah, it gets pricey. I don't know how people do entire armies of it, but it's pretty cool. I'm going to throw a little bit of water in here. Get back to the chat in 1 second. I see it off to my right, but I need to get these letters straightened out first. My letter A game is not on point right now. Okay. Sorry, let me just review my chat here. Each gang has unique pets. Escher gets a cat. Dalek has Robo Octopus thing. Nice. I fell behind the guest on my Battlefield Gothic. I don't know where that came from. Awesome. If I missed a comment or something like that, go ahead and ask it again, just because I don't want to. I'm always very hesitant to like scroll on my phone to look at comments because I don't want it to be like, oh, let's watch somebody scroll on their phone. That's super awesome. I'm not at that level of fame yet where I can just do nothing and call it content. One day. Need to clean up a lap anymore. Actually, I'm going to just delete this letter A. Start over. There we go. All right. Looked at a picture of the Gilliman I painted for a friend for my interview at my current job. That's awesome. I've definitely done that before too. When I got not this job but a previous one, they're like, "Oh, what kind of like online development experience do you have?" And I showed them the old blog that I had where I had a bunch of like models and stuff that I painted, and they were like, "Holy crap, this is cool." I was like, "Yeah, it is. Hire me." I gotta say, I like her. When we painted tonight, she's cool looking. Right now I'm listening to my cat paw at the door and try to get in. He's like, "Let me in." Oh yeah, much better. There we go. A legible letter A. I low-key love these Necromunda models. Can't get Dark Uprising any faster. Stormcast Battle Force, please. Nice. Yeah, I really enjoy them. You know, it's one of those things that like I cranked out so many Warcry warbands. I kind of hit my wall when I came to the Gloomspite Gits one, because there's just so much detail on those the Squig Riders that I just hit a wall. I was like, I just need to take a break from them. It's a lot of work, but these ones, even though it's the same number of models, it's 8 instead of 10, but I'm putting more work into these. I just really find it quite enjoyable. And so at this point, the only thing I got to do is throw down some the sealant on, well, all over her, but her torso and stuff is all done. And then I got to do it to her base to lock in the name. I was super tempted to get Dark Uprising, but I just spent a bunch on some used Gloomspite. Yeah. They're super fun. Dark Uprising. It's a cool set. I'll be honest, like I said before, I outsourced the actually I gotta do his base or her base. I outsourced the terrain. One second. Oh, I'm missing the color I'm looking for. Here we go. Pallid Witch Flesh. Sorry for the weird pause there. Just gotta finish her base real quick. Not gonna do a ton to it because I don't want them all to be a rusted heap like she's standing on. I want them to be a little bit different. Take over Mars. Oh, thank you for your donation. So do we know if the new Chaos Warriors are going to stay in the same base? My assumption is yes. They don't look very different. I mean, I can't speak to like the stuff we don't know about, like Marauders or the Chariots and junk, but the bases look the same on the actual Warriors. Look pretty proportional. And are they a permanent release or a limited one? The new ones, I'm sure they're permanent. I have no doubt. I mean, that's the thing. So answer your question. I believe they are permanent. In addition, I don't understand why every release is not permanent. And I don't mean like the boxes. I mean like the models. Like, why do we have, annual store opening exclusives? It's like, no, dude, people love this stuff. Just make it available on order, on an order by order basis on your website. I don't get it. I'm sure there's some business reason, but it just eludes me. Because it kind of seems like you guys invested a lot of money in molds and product, but if you don't make it accessible to people, I don't. No say. No idea. Guys, Chaos Warriors are on 32s. Yeah, I don't think we're having the same hashtag basegate that we did with Mortec Guard when everyone was like, what do you mean they're on 25s? I think people are slightly more in the loop on this one. Which, I mean, almost, I can't think of with the exception of Marauders, of a basic infantry for Chaos that hasn't been on 32s? 60mm Chaos Warriors, that would be amazing. I mean, 60mm Chaos Warriors would certainly make them exactly what they're like in the Vermintide game, where you're like killing and hacking through rats, and all of a sudden this like monolithic dude shows up in armor, and you're like, oh, frick. Hot take, Blood Reaver should have been on 25s. Need to think if I agree with that. I kind of like them. I kind of like them on 32s. I'm painting up a lot of warriors because I started playing RLR. I'm not familiar with RLR. Regiments of Renown. It's like RLR. Deepkin Shark deserves to be better. I've seen him do pretty well. Return of Reckoning. Oh, I have no idea what that is. Okay, she's looking pretty much done, as is Dahlia. Just throw some sealant on her. There we go. She is done. And grab her and we'll just do the name. And the rim. and Talia are done. What I'm really excited to do, so I chose Escher because nobody else was really playing Escher in this campaign, and I was like, you know, eventually I want to play a whole bunch of gangs, but what do you guys need for this campaign? Like, what do they not have? Someone was like, Escher. People don't generally like to play Escher. I was like, okay, I'm in, because I don't mind losing a bunch. And I don't know why they're not playing them, but I assume it's because they're not that great, but I don't care. Maybe they just don't want to play as girls. Don't care about that either. And so I jumped in with Escher, but the gang that I have, no, it's not right near me. The one that I really want to paint is Cawdor, like the religious zealots. And so I'm going to try my hand like the Blanjitsu, like the really dark and grim looking style, because I think that them with their bright riot girl compared to that would look pretty sweet. Sam Cook, Doug, have you tried Blood Bowl yet? Honestly, I was considering it for content, like actually playing Blood Bowl, and because on my video editor to make fun like narrative stuff, I actually have a whole bunch of sports things, like to make it like a real sportscast kind of deal. I was like, that could be a really cool way to do battle reports, and there is certainly a fan base for it. The only thing is I don't really understand how to play, and so then I downloaded Blood Bowl, like the on Steam, right, the PC version, and I just haven't gotten around to trying it. So I think that would definitely teach me how to do it. But yeah, but it's something kind of, it's in that same sphere of like stuff that I want to do, stuff that I can do size wise for this channel and do a lot of content. It has a lot of like a devoted following, that kind of stuff. So, suggestion: like the Skaven are looking for the plagues, your girls could be looking for the lost tracks of the chaos for the most corrupting mixtape of all time. I love it. I think Blood Bowl is the best game GW makes. Interesting. I don't know why you have game in quotes. It is a game. It is, in fact, very much a game. I swear I can never find the color. Like, it's always right in front of me until I need it, and then it just runs away. Yeah, Wildwood. Let's see. Want to play PC Blood Bowl with someone? Let me know. Yeah, I need to actually learn how to play the game. But yeah, I'm open to stuff and things. The gameplay of Blood Bowl is better and straightforward than anything else GW does. Yeah, I mean, polished and straightforward is not the it's not a requirement for me when it comes to these games, as I was talking about earlier. But I understand. I understand why people do like it. We actually have a fairly active scene here locally. They're always doing different seasons and campaigns and that kind of stuff. At one point I bought the Skaven set just to paint them because they looked so cool. And then I sold them off to a dude up the road. Let's see. I'll tell you what, friends. I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. I got some ladies done. I tell you what, I will be doing a live stream tomorrow. I just don't know when. That's the only thing I can't really announce because like we're going to a Thanksgiving dinner at 2:30 my time, and we'll be there obviously for a few hours, probably 4 or 5 or so. So in the evening, you know, when things are chilling, you're just hanging out with your family. Let me know, and well, not really know. I'll just be on live, so keep an eye out, and probably be painting more of these girls because I have to have them ready by Monday. So, yeah, I'll crank through these. The other ones I'll spend, well, no, I'll spend time on them. I was gonna say I'll spend less time on them because they're not as important as the leader, but it's Necromunda and everyone's important, so. That is the plan. So, friends, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. Oh, one last donation from Takeover Mars. What's up? What's up? Big plans Friday. Black Friday. I'm going to do a stream like I always do every Friday around 11. And that is it. I already did my grocery shopping, so I don't have to leave my house because I hate shopping on days where everybody's busy running around being crazy. And we live... so the next exit up north from ours is like all the shopping areas, like Alderwood Mall and all these things. And so it's just murder. It's murder. Everywhere you want to go is murder. So not leaving the house, gonna be streaming, painting, chilling, living, laughing, and loving, as is the spirit of the weekend in America. So friends, I'll catch you tomorrow night, and I'll see you then. Everybody have a wonderful